So, anybody who's ever had to stand up for anything in their life that's important or that they care about knows that on the other side of that decision is a whole litany of people who do not want you to have made that decision, who do not want you to have had courage to stand up for yourself or to stand up for something that you believe in. I've seen this happen like in my own life. I've seen it happen for other people that are close to me. And I've even seen it happen for people who I consider to be sort of maybe my opponents or something like that. It happens across the board. You stick up for yourself or something you believe in, and there's a whole bunch of people who want to shove you back in that box that you were in before. And anybody who's done that knows that. Even if they don't have the ability or the luxury of saying it. So, I was thinking about this the other day in relation to some recent events that's happened in my life and for my partner, and it occurred to me that in those instances where you've done something, you've made a strong decision, you've stuck up for yourself, you've done something, for the good of the world, you have an amazing opportunity in those cases to do something great, and it's this. If you see, in those cases, a lot of times, you see the world really clearly all of a sudden, really clearly, like in a way that you've never seen before. And when you see the world so clearly, it's like a portal that's sort of opening. And you have kind of only so much time before that portal closes, and you start bending again to I think it's been called this before, the sort of reality distortion fields that are around you, that sort of bend and warp. They're like filters on a camera lens. And when for a second, that filter is gone, and you see who people really are. You see the masks come off. You see that the emperor has no clothes, so to speak. And you have this short span of time where everything is really vivid. Everything's very clear, and it makes sense. All these dots are all these things that random bits of information that have been or data, you could say, things observations you've made, patterns you picked up, maybe all of this stuff clicks into place. There's all these connections that are made in your mind, and you get to observe that clarity for a moment, or you can step through that portal into a new life. And that's a really exciting place to be. Even if people's response to a strong decision on your part react negatively, and even cruelly, viciously try to shut you down. If you can reframe that instance as a valuable experience, then you have the opportunity to see things clearly, for one, and number two, to walk through that portal into a new life. Because when you do that, you're creating a connection between something that's occurred in your mind, a new realization, and some enlightened thing in your mind, and you've put your body into action if you decide to sort of take that step through. So if you see, for instance, that let's say you're afraid of confrontation, okay, and you have a moment where somebody confronts you, and your response, maybe your emotional response to that and your physical response to that is surprising to you, like in the sense that you didn't know that you were capable of this response and being able to stick up for yourself or something like that. And you see that perhaps either the cruelty or the cowardice of the people around you. When that comes up, you have an opportunity then, because you're seeing everything clearly. You're seeing things that you weren't seeing before, and you're making all these connections, okay? If you choose to then, you could say, well, that was like a one-time instance, okay? I'm not used to doing that, but my adrenaline was up, and, I had this particular response. I got mad. I got, I got sad, but I wasn't defeated. But it was like it was because of all these other external things. So then you choose not to step through that portal, right? But if you do, and you put that newfound information about yourself that you didn't know before, that you didn't have before, into action, then what happens is your mind has this new realization, but your body, your physical body has a new memory attached to it, like a physical body memory. I'll look up some information about this and maybe talk about it in the next episode, but you have a physical response. And so now you have basically the foundation to be able to start becoming a new person. And that's a pretty amazing thing, if you ask me. So I would encourage everybody, if you're in a position in your life when you're watching this, or you remember this when you watch this, if you have an instance in your life that comes up where you have to stick up for something that you believe in, or you have to do something that's really uncomfortable or it's going to cost you something, but you know it's the right thing to do, and you do it, and you have that clarity moment, and you decide to step through that portal, I would encourage everyone, just remember this, and when that happens, just try it. Stick up for yourself and see what happens. I have a feeling that most of the time, most people, if they have most of the kind of personality types that will attack and try to dominate people, if it's like incessant, if it seems compulsive, like they don't have any control over it and they just have to do it no matter what, usually with any sort of like actual pushback against that, and I'm not talking about physical force here. I think I'm a big one for just extremity of self-defense. Those are the only justified, physical force things that are allowed in my book. But if you give any sort of like resistance to somebody who's trying to override you, and you just stay firm in that, you'll see the world very clearly. And I encourage everybody with any ounce of courage to try to expand that ounce of courage, try to turn it into something more. And you will find that you will see the world in a different way, and you will see yourself in relation to the world around you in a different way. And so that's just something I've been thinking about. That's my little speech for today. Thanks for watching and listening. This has been Have a Good Time. And really, have a good time. I believe in you.